It's still inside this program, right? But it's a calibrator. The sun is a calibrator that's releasing signals into the earth, and through the Schumann resonance, we can deposit and pick up the frequency of what the sun is relaying to say, you can handle, you are this, but you're there realizing that you are this. So it's going to translate us through frequency as we journey through the earth. Yep. So it's like a huge cell that holds capacity, and it releases in increments as the calibration of implosion and explosion, because that's what a star is. Now, I'm talking about you now. I'm personalize this. Do not distance anything that Carrie and I say from yourselves. Go look in the mirror and say, oh my gosh, I'm the sun. If I am the sun, then I am in the climactic position of explosion and implosion that holds space. I'm neither this exploding nor that imploding. I am everything of in between that. That's what a star is. You have capacity on that dimension to contain what we see as representation of the sun. If you want to see a glimpse of your potential and your capacity, just go look outside and look at that. That's so good. That is what's inside of you, and it's teaching us to become it through the calibration while we journey in the expression of Ara, the earth. And so we're in this vibration of becoming that. So again, when we do this, it's like, know what the sun is. If you're making love, it's the orgasmic state of never climaxing, but you're held in that position of the ultimate position of this and that, right? You've reached the climax, but you're not in that place of releasing, right? You're in the complete holding pattern. We can't comprehend that. We cannot comprehend that because our body wants to release right away because we don't have the capacity yet. But what's coming is capacitors that have built the expansion, the wineskin, which she's talking about. They have been for and against themselves. They pitched the nature of outside and inside, and they now have the capacity to contain the essence of what the nature of the sun is. It's a nature of being. It's a signature of divine exchange. Shemesh. Ooh, that's a lot of energy.
Yes. So not only does it mean to be a servant, to serve, but it's also a prophet and a priest.
Everything.
And a teacher.
We can't give it right. We can't serve it correctly from our limitation of articulation. It's impossible. The best expression that we can say to really determine what it is when we simply shut our mouth and go inward into the meditation of your absolute of all. I don't need to hear it. You don't need to hear it. You just simply need to be aware of it, because that's what this is. We're simply showing awareness to what you deem yourself to be. But it's a star. So how do you define that, right? We limit it. As soon as we open our mouth, we start touching the ultimate expression of unlimited potential. So go in and just simply be a star. It's based on the simplistic nature of neutrality. I'm neither this nor that. I'm the absolute. And how can I define that? That's a very mature thing to bring that in, to say is simply, it doesn't need to express itself. It is, right? And in that I explode, but in that I contract.
So with this word today and everything that Ken just shared, go and meditate on it. The photon light energy that is coming from the sun is the creative energy that is in and through all things, and that is how creation happens, is through photonic light energy coming from the sun. So when you take this word and you realize it is you, and you go inside here and you meditate on it, and you start broadcasting love and gratitude, guess what you're creating? This, if this does not resonate with you yet, but I shared with you all of those moving parts, take the light of the sun, the photonic light energy from the sun, which is what they would call the logos, but we know is the word, Melpha. The Melpha that is coming from the sun in the form of photonic light energy, because Melpha is photonic light energy that creates through the word Melpha. Take that through the flame letters and meditate on it. Give love and gratitude. Think upon these things and then give love and gratitude here and see what you create today. Because we know through cymatics, these words change matter. That means it will change you to become more wave than particle. You are the freaking light of the sun! Do you think we need to keep changing our avatar suit so we can handle it? Be a capacitor, be the arc? Oh my gosh, this is so good! Meditate on these things today. Yes, Rick?
Just because you brought it up, I thought I would share a little bit from last night. I was invited out to a steak dinner, at the local restaurant, and several friends were meeting there. I walked in a little bit later because I had a couple things to do. Well, they happened to be seated right in the middle of the room. Well, when they walked in, I give my standard. Well, hello, you lucky people. You are so blessed I am here. Well, my friends have all heard me say that, and they're like, oh, and several people were laughing, and they could hear it around. They were laughing. But at that moment, Ruka Dakucha got a hold of me. I looked around, I could see lots of coffee cups and water. So one of the ladies I was being led to do something. So one of the ladies that was at the table there, her name was Brenda. I said, Brenda, follow me. So we walked up by the bar area, and they had warming plates with coffee, coffee on it with decaf and regular coffee, and then they had pitchers of water. I said, grab the water. We went around to every table in the restaurant, and we filled their coffee cups and their water. We got done, and when I got all done, everybody stood up and went, yay! And it wasn't from the doing it to me, but see, it's that spirit of serving.
Yes.
That love, and I know who I am type thing, and it just spread. It was contagious. I had so many people, when they got done, they come over and shook my hand, and can we interrupt you for a minute? Can we get a picture? I'm like, oh my God, they had a good time. But that's what my standard thing from my friends, that hey, it's who we really are.
That's right.
Express it.
And Rick, I'm so glad that you shared that, because this was something that you just totally cemented a thought that I was mulling over all week long. Every single day, this thought kept coming about. And the difference is the intention behind it. When I was in the church, I was taught to serve. And I was taught that I had to go do certain things. But I'll tell you what, it's a complete difference when you know that you are the light of the sun, because everything that you do in serving is from the overflow, and not for the sake of trying to get something, trying to get the favor of God, trying to do something because this is what I do as a Christian. It's the natural manifestation of who we already are. There's no thought about that I need to. I am. I am the gift that gives. I am the gift that shows up. And wherever there is lack, I feel the lack because I serve. And not because I have to, because it's my joy to, because that's who I am. The sunlight gives. Does it not? It doesn't judge. It doesn't say, oh, all the good people get sunlight and all the bad people get the shade and the dark and the shadow. No! It shines on the just and the unjust. And so you just totally cemented when I was thinking about my heart posture when I was in the church. I felt like I had to give, and it was a chore, and it was not a joy. But I did it because that's what I was told to do. That was indoctrinated to believe that that's what a Christian does. Oh, Rick, that was so good. And you know what? It is contagious.
I had so much fun, and I think everybody else there did too. It added to their joy. People really enjoyed themselves, and even afterwards, the waitress came by. I said, "Man, it's one of the best tip nights we ever had." And they said, "Are you coming back tomorrow?"
Well, I love it in the language. Again, I'm trying to connect it to practicality so we can see what your expression actually generated, right? And so this is how I hear what Rick did. Because this is how it just speaks to me. He functioned out of generosity.
Yep.
And so now everything that we're sharing is the language of Tan, is the language of nobility. It just means out of your enlargement. So again, we can take these words and start pulling them apart. Enlargement means out of your flow, you have excess. And out of my excess, I am generous. And out of my generosity, I give abundantly or extravagantly. That's what Rick did. He demonstrated Tani or Tana, a dragon. Only a vibration. He sees large. He enacted enlargement by engaging the room in a noble stance of generosity. That's what the world needs to see right now. So that's so we can connect it to what Carrie's saying, right? And we can connect it to what this freakish thing of dragon, Leviathan is in the narrative. If you arise out of your true nature, there you shall be in the extravagance of abundance, and the room will overflow in that level of wealth.
And this is because Rick chose to serve, and it wasn't his job.
Right.
The waitress's job was to pour the coffee and pour the water. That's what her work, her job was. He just simply did it because it was the joy of his heart to do that. Now, Shemesh, the actual outpouring of the sunlight equals joy. That's what it is. It's just joy. It just flows forth. Life flows forth in joy. Chata or chadutha, you've heard me say this many times. Chata is the root word. Chadutha is when you put a vav in the middle of it. Chad is a root that means unified. Ta is the sacred chamber of the heart. Ka on the outside is life. Dat on the inside is the fiery law. The fiery law, which leads to life, is unification in the heart, where you've completed the union as one. And that produces joy, and that produces the light of the sun. That's why we're sweeping everything out.
That's why we're sweeping it all out.
Get it all out of the way.
This is upon us right now. This season is here. As of today,
Oh, yeah.
This new moon cycle is Ra'ah. It means those that see and those that speak in the abundance of wealth. They are the Rafim. They are the healers of old, the walkers of old in the way of old, as if they never left. They fully return to themselves as absolute. That is the abundant grace of no longer being in disgrace. This is the ancient order of the dragon, nobility. That's what is upon us right now.
Amen.